Hey, it's Doug with Backcountry Pilgrim. Today I am talking about sleep pad accessories. You probably have not heard much about sleep pad accessories, at least I know I haven't, but they do exist, and today I'm going to talk to you about 3 of them. The first is going to be the Trekker Chair by Therm-A-Rest. This is a piece of gear that transforms your sleep pad into a nice, comfy trail chair. We're also going to look at a tent footprint by OneTigris. This is actually a bathtub floor footprint with no tent. The reason this might be useful to you with a sleep pad will become evident in the video. And because a sleep pad won't do you any good if it isn't inflated, we're also going to look at FlexTail's new Zero Pump and briefly compare it to the Tiny Pump. All right, so now I'm going to take you out into the woods. We're going to set up the tent footprint, which will protect the sleep pad. Then I'm going to inflate the Nemo tensor with the FlexTail Pump Zero, and then transform the sleep pad into a camp chair protected by the tent footprint and see how it goes. Turning your inflatable sleep pad into a comfy camp chair is a fairly simple matter, but if you want to protect that expensive sleep pad, keep debris off of it and out of your pack, plus help ward off bugs and other irritations like that, you might want to look into the tent footprint by OneTigris. This is a semi-freestanding bathtub floor tent footprint that basically acts as the floor of your tent without a tent. Each corner of the OneTigris footprint has small rods in it that lift the footprint up, creating the bathtub floor. These can be reinforced by guying them out with the included stakes. This is a nylon tent bottom, measuring 78 by 40. Being 40 inches wide, this would typically be counted as a 2-person tent size, and it is quite luxurious for a single person. The claimed weight of the tent footprint is 14 ounces. On my scale, the entire package came to 16.8 ounces. 2 of those ounces are the tent stake and stake bag, and you add about a half an ounce for the excellent stuff sack. At $30, this is a pretty cool piece of kit for someone that wants a little bit more luxury while they're out on the trail. To set up the Therm-A-Rest Trekker chair, you must first have an inflated sleep pad. The one I chose to bring on this trip is the Nemo tensor. This is the long, wide version, so it is a 25-inch wide pad, and in case it matters, this is the insulated variety. Therm-A-Rest recommends only partially inflating the sleep pad before you try to install the Trekker chair. In my experience, you can pretty well inflate the pad, but you do want to leave a little bit of extra because you are going to be folding the sleep pad and you don't want to stress the material. To inflate the Nemo tensor, I am trying out the new FlexTail Zero Pump. Now, I have used their tiny pumps before. They are pretty handy. The one that I have actually comes with a light as well as a pump. And with a rechargeable battery, this little thing has saved quite a bit of effort pumping up a sleep pad. I know there have been days where I've had a pretty hard time on the trail, and the last thing I want to do when I get to camp is spend 3 or 4 minutes puffing air into a sleep pad. The FlexTail comes with numerous nozzles that are going to fit nearly every pad on the market, as well as other inflatable things like beach toys. One of the beauties of the FlexTail Zero Pump is that not only is it going to pump up your sleeping pad for you, but it can do so hands-free, which means you're going to have a couple of minutes to do other things while the sleep pad is being inflated. For me, blowing up the sleep pad is one of the most annoying of the camp chores, so I found that carrying this little 3-inch pump that weighs less than 2 ounces well worth it. I was able to get my Nemo tensor inflated in about a minute, and FlexTail says that you should be able to do about 25 full sleep pad inflations on one charge of its replaceable 650 milliamp battery. Despite being less than 2 ounces, the FlexTail Zero Pump is a tough aluminum alloy that is rated to be drop-proof, although not waterproof. Since the pump is basically a high-pressure fan, it can be used for other things like cooling yourself off or starting a fire. It can also be reversed to deflate your sleep pad quicker if you find the need to do so. If you have previous versions of the FlexTail pump, and the Zero Pump is quite a bit quieter. The FlexTail Zero Pump is reported to weigh 1.2 ounces, but that is without the battery or nozzle attached. Once your sleep pad is mostly inflated, it is time to convert it to the Therm-A-Rest Trekker chair. The Trekker chair is actually a 75D polyester material chair that is held together by adjustable straps, and that forms a sleeve which will slip over the top of your sleep pad. Its shape is reinforced with nylon and fiberglass poles, which accounts for its 20-inch by 4 to 6-inch pack size. The 4-inch refers to the 20-inch pad Trekker chair, and the 6-inch to the one I have, which is the 25-inch size. The 20-inch Trekker chair comes in at 10 ounces, and the 25 at 13. Once everything is clipped together, the Trekker chair has a 300-pound capacity. The Trekker chair can actually work without the sleep pad because it is counterbalancing your body weight with the pressure from your back. Once you have sat on the bottom piece of the Trekker chair and adjusted the diagonal straps that hold the back up against you, you can just lean into it and relax. Putting it on the sleeping pad cushions underneath you, but doesn't really change a lot of the feel on the back because the straps are connected to the front of the Trekker chair and not to the back of the sleep pad. This means that the cushion from the sleep pad is not being pressed into your back, but only the material. The bottom, however, feels quite luxurious as you are now sitting on your sleep pad in an upright position. I also tried loosening the side straps to allow myself to recline somewhat. I did not find that that worked, as I would simply tip over. Another thing to note is that if you are not on level ground, it can take a bit of adjustment to get the Trekker chair to hold you in position while you are relaxed. And once you are in that position, you are pretty much going to have to stay there unless you readjust. However, on level ground, this is not much of a problem. The chair does kind of wrap around you a bit. I could feel the structural support poles in my back underneath my shoulders. However, they were not stabbing me, so it was not uncomfortable. I just knew that they were there. All in all, a setup like this is not something that I would probably use just for a quick break. However, if I am on a destination hike and I am planning on spending a fair amount of time at that destination, this is a very comfortable way to go. Further, if I am in a camping situation, the fact that I can just grab my sleep pad out of my tent and convert it into a chair makes the sleeping pad a multi-use item. But I now have a camp chair with only a 10 or 13 ounce weight penalty. The Therm-A-Rest Trekker chair runs $65. There are so many pieces of gear out there for today's backpacker. I hope that today's video has helped you out. If it has, why don't you give it a like and subscribe to Backcountry Pilgrim if you are into hiking, camping, backpacking, and the gear that goes with it. I am Doug, and as always, thanks for watching.